So what is up, guys? This is Nick here from Everything Tech, and welcome to this Samsung Galaxy S5 versus LG G4 showdown. Now, right out the gate, I know what you guys are thinking. Nick, those phones are old. Ha ha ha. Well, guess what? Some people are still on the used market and they're looking for a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S5 or the LG G4. Now, both of these guys are similar price range. Both on the back have 16 megapixel cameras, f1.8 aperture here on the LG G4, f2.1 aperture here on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Both have removable backs and both have removable batteries. Waterproofing here on the S5, well, water resistance you can say, and a 5.2 inch screen here that's 1080p here on the Galaxy S5, Super AMOLED 1080p, so Super AMOLED HD, Quantum IPS panel here on the LG G4, which is a 5.5 inch liquid crystal display. So let's go ahead and boot these guys up at the same time in 3, 2, 1, see which one gets there first. And you can see Sammy Boy on the left, LG Life's Good on the right. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because the Galaxy S5 was just recently, like maybe a couple months ago, updated to Android Marshmallow here. And the LG G4 has been running Marshmallow, but both are on Android Marshmallow. Therefore, this is a very even test. And if you're going on the used market and you're looking for a solid yesteryear flagship, this can be a great little comparison to help you guys out in that regard. So let's go ahead and just see. The S5 did win the boot up test. So a little bit surprising there that the S5 did win that boot up test, as it does have a 4-core CPU and the LG G4 has a 6-core CPU. So let's go into CPU Z on both just to take a look at the specifications before we get going more into this video. If I go to CPU Z here on both sides, you can see we do have an 808 over here on the right. That's 1.82 gigahertz, and the S5 does have a 2.46 gigahertz Snapdragon 801. So it does look like we have 4 cores here on the S5, and we do have 6 cores here on the LG G4. Like I say here on the Samsung S5, we do have 2 gigabytes of RAM, whereas we have 3 gigabytes of RAM here on both. So let's go home and do some app tests. Let's start with the calculator on both. Let's make sure everything is closed before we start running this test. You see, things were open there, so that wouldn't have been really fair right there. So let's go ahead and go into calculator on both. 3, 2, 1, calculator. Looks like that was about dead even. Let's go home. Now, I do want to mention that because there's software buttons here on the LG G4, whereas there is a physical touch button here on the S5 on the left, that does make it a little easier to go home on the LG G4. Let's go to calendar on both. You can see G4 for the win, so 1, 1. 1 to the Samsung and 1 to the LG. Let's go into, let's see, camera here. See which one gets there first. That looked like the LG. Let's go ahead and do a picture, quick snap. Looked like the Samsung was slightly quicker on the picture taking. So the speed of actually taking a picture, I'm gonna have to hand it to Samsung. Now, in terms of just the general UI, both are very snappy, both are very smooth in that regard. You're not going to notice too much difference, but what I did notice in my experience is the LG G4 had a bit better optimization. So at some points, because of Samsung's heavy skin on top of Android, there sometimes would be a slight lag here and there on the Samsung, whereas the LG G4 stays pretty consistently smooth here throughout the duration of your use here. So let me go into the about section of both of these just to confirm this is Marshmallow before I wrap this video up, because I don't want you to think this is an unfair test. So 6.0.1 here on Samsung and 6.0 here on the LG. So very similar software, pretty good there, pretty good stuff there. So let's go open some third-party apps now really quickly here. Let's see if we can go to eBay really quickly here on both of them. Where is the eBay app on the S5? Let me find it. Not quite sure where the eBay app is here on the S5. Oh, I found it. Okay, let's go in 3, 2, 1. And you could see, looks like the Samsung went there first, but that's actually the going to the browser. I actually have a browser bookmark, so that one's not too fair. Let's go into the Play Store and do another test really quickly here. Let's go into the Play Store. Let me find the Play Store here. It's in this Google folder here, I believe, on the G4. It's hard to find these icons when there's so many of them on both of these devices. Let me go find the Play Store really quickly. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And you could see, looks like the LG G4 only slightly. So I think this test is going to show that both of these devices are very snappy devices. Both of them are very quick. Let's go to both browsers and do a quick test here. Let's go to yahoo.com on this one, and then we're gonna go to yahoo.com on the LG G4. Let's go 3, 2, 1, let's go. And you could see, looks like the S5 was slightly faster, but it's still loading. G4 is done. So G4 does take the cake there. You guys count up the apps. It looks to me like the G4 is slightly quicker in some areas, whereas the S5 is slightly quicker in other areas. In terms of the screen quality, on the G4, you do get a sharper screen. It's really hard to see this on camera, but that 2K screen is just very, very clear and sharp. However, of course, with all AMOLED screens here, the S5 does give you those punchy, vibrant colors here. If you decide to go and get this, it's going to be a very good phone for media experience. And also, if you need that water resistance, I would have to give the leg up to the S5. So this is a really tough comparison in terms of which phone you should get if you're, trying to find a yesteryear flagship or a flagship from last year, because both of these are in a similar price range. If you go on eBay, you go on Amazon, you look on third-party websites, you might find the S5 for a very similar price as the LG G4. Now, I do have to discuss the cameras really quickly. Both of them have 16 megapixels, so if you're not a photographer, you're not really going to notice too much of a difference. But in actuality, I do take a lot of pictures. The LG G4 is the better camera here overall. I mean, most people are not going to be able to tell, but photographers, people who can really see realistic colors, you're going to see it here on the G4. Now, I do have to say that the Samsung does take more punchier colors. So if you like vibrant, saturated photos, the S5 is going to give you that, whereas the G4 is just going to give you a better, more realistic picture that you're probably going to want to go edit in some post-production or post-software. On the front cameras, no contest, 8 megapixel here on the LG G4, whereas the S5 has a 2 megapixel, so no contest on the selfie camera. If you take selfies, the G4 is your boy. So that's pretty much it here on this video comparison. I do have to mention the S5's battery life is a good bit stronger than the LG G4. So you take which bits and pieces that you want from this video, and I hope this helped you out in deciding which one of these phones is going to be the one for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for more technology videos like this. I will catch you all in the next one. Be sure to be well, and peace.